All right, so we're gonna come back to standing. Take a deep breath in, let your palms be open. Inhale through your nose, and then exhale, blow it all out. Now push down through your heels, squeeze your glutes, and bend your knees a little bit, but imagine you're sliding your back down a wall behind you. So you want to keep your spine tall. So keep those knees, like you're gonna bend the knees a little bit, keep the back straight. And then we're gonna do baby pulses. So you're not gonna even straighten your legs, just little pulses, like 1.5 inches, 2 inches. Bend it a little bit deeper and then come back up. So bend and release, bend and release. And when you release and you stand up a little bit straighter, you want to keep the slight bend. Good. Keep going. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release. Now you can straighten your legs and just kind of bend your knees, kind of wiggle them out. Good. Then you take your hands, place them on your thighs, and we're going to go counterclockwise. So draw a circle with your knees, bend them as you go counterclockwise. And get as deep, yeah. That's awesome. Sweet. Good, now reverse. And lift your chest up a little bit so your back is as straight as it can be. And you feel your quads lighting up a bit, right? Good, and then come back to the center. Bend your knees as if you're sitting down on a seat behind you. In that like chair pose, you can bring your hand to your heart. We're just gonna stay here for 3 breaths. So breathe in through your nose and let it go. Relaxing your shoulders, sitting back on those heels, breathing in and letting go. 1 more breath here. Good, and release. All right, straighten your legs. Tuck your left toes under. So tuck your left toes, toenails kind of push on the floor, stretching your ankle. Take your right hand, place it on your hip. Reach your left arm up and over. So as you stretch the top of your ankle, you're also lengthening through that left side of your body. And release. Yep. The balance is what's being tested for sure. Good, and then release, come back. Unlace your legs or like your toes, other side. Right toe is pushed down on the floor, so stretching the ankle. Left hand stays on the hip, reach your right arm up and over. Oh, nice, power washing. Every year that thing had to be cleaned. Yeah, of course. And release. Let your hands come down. Bring your hands to your hips. This time we're just going to do hip circles here. So bring the hips around in a big circle in one direction. Good. And then reverse direction. Good. And come back to center. Inhale. Yep. Hot, but back to normal. It's amazing. Interlace your fingers, cross your thumbs, release your index fingers. Squeeze your palms. Pull your feet closer together so your whole body is almost like a candlestick. So you can have your feet, they don't need to touch necessarily, but they're pretty close. Separate your toes. So even though your feet are on the ground, just imagine like separating your toes. Give them a little wiggle. Separate them out so your whole foot is really firmly planted on the ground. And then reach your fingers up and over towards that right side, pointing slightly towards the back right-hand corner of the room. So your upper body opens up here. It's a very slight shape, like movement, pushing your hips towards the left side. Two more breaths here. Keep your chin lifted. Good, and come back to the center. Reach your fingertips up, toes push down and open over, especially your heels too, your feet, your whole foot, and pushes down as you reach your fingertips, pointing up and over towards that left-hand side of the back corner of the room. Using the left hand to pull your right. Squeeze your glutes to protect your lower back. Keep your chin lifted. 3 more breaths here. And release. Come back to the center. Drop your head back. Let it be heavy. Squeeze your glutes again. You can shake your head a little bit as it like kicks back, relaxes, and then reach your fingertips up and back. Push your hips forward. So it's a pretty deep back bend. Using your arms to open up here in your shoulders. 2 more breaths. Good. And release. Bring your arms down by your side. Roll your shoulders up, back, and down. Sweep your right hand behind your back. And walk that hand as far up towards your neck as you can get it. Then reach the left hand up and back. And we're not even going to use a strap here. Just push your head against your arm so that you feel that opening in your left shoulder, your left arm. Good. And then switch sides. Spin the arms. Left hand comes up. Reach your right arm down. Kind of apply some pressure on that left hand. No. No. I feel yeah. And then we're going to switch sides again. Usually one side is easier than the other. On this side, walking those hands towards each other. On this side, I can touch the fingers. But you still get all the benefits from the stretch without touching your fingers. Good, and then release other side. Right hand up top, left hand below. Walking those fingers even closer towards each other. 2, 3. Good, and release. Shake it out. All right, come to the middle of your mat. Let your hands come by your side. Inhale, reach your arms out and up. Palms come together. Exhale, fold forward. We're going to stay down here for a moment. So let yourself hang. Relax your shoulders. Your arms could be kind of long and heavy. Your knees slightly bent. Good. And then bend the knees enough that the fingertips can land on the floor. And walk your hands over towards the left side. Straighten your left leg. Keep that right knee bent. So we're going to stretch the back of the knees and the backs of the legs. And walk back to the center, over to the other side. Walking over towards the right side. Left knee bends. Right leg is a little bit straighter. And come back to the center. Interlace your fingers. Place your hands behind your head. Turn your head a little left and right. So shake your head no a bit. Good. And then let your hands go. Walk your hands up to your shins. So we're going to go halfway up before we go all the way up. So halfway up, flat back. So lifting your head a little bit above your heart. So you start to kind of bring that heart. Good. Take a breath there and then slowly come back up. Roll your shoulders up, back, and down. Interlace your hands behind your back. Sweep those hands over towards the left side. So that fist comes over towards your left hip. Relax your right ear towards your right shoulder. Rock your head a little forward and back. Good. And come back to the center. Other side. Sweeping your hands over towards the right side. Relax your left ear towards your left shoulder. Take a moment there. And then rocking a little forward and back. Good. And then come back to the center. All right, relax your arms. Now we're going to come up on your tippy toes and walk to the back of your mat. And we're just going to walk back and forth on the mat. So lift up on your tippy toes. Walk to the front of your mat. And then once you get to the front, walk back, still on your tippy toes. Watch out for the bolster there. Good. Good, and then stay at the back of the mat. Perfect. Now we're going to come onto your heels. So now come onto heel walking. And then walk backwards on your heels. And forwards. Good. Excellent, and then come back to the center. Come to the center of the mat. Can you close your eyes for a moment? Lengthen through your spine, pushing your head slightly back so your ears are stacked over your shoulders. Take a deep breath in and exhale. Let it go. Good. And open your eyes and actually set an intention. So set an intention for your day that you want to come and bring into your day and that you can come back to for the rest of this class. So one of the intentions I've been saying to myself in the morning is calmness is power. So I find myself kind of speeding up a lot, and so I find that if I'm calmer, I'm actually making more progress on projects and things that I want to do. So I tell myself like a few times in the morning, calmness is power. So you can use that one if you want, or decide on a different one. Either way, take a deep breath in and exhale it out. Beautiful. All right, open your eyes. We're gonna come down to the floor. So come on to all fours. Hands underneath your shoulders, and we're gonna start with stretching your wrists. So let your wrists come out to the side, to either side, and just make circles, little circles here. Sorry, circles with your torso and your fingertips pointing to the outer edge. So one direction here. Good, and then reverse direction. Good, and come back to the center. Flip your fingertips to point to the forward, the top of the mat. Flip your left hand so that your hand, the back of your hand is pushing down on the mat. And here we're gonna do micro movements forward and back, forward and back. And if it's like gets to be a little bit too much, then also like move your hand closer to your knee. Good, and release that hand. You can kind of give it a little bit of a spin, like a roll your wrist around before you put it back down. Good, and then we'll do the other side. So flip your right hand, back of the hand pushing the mat, and then baby pushes forward and back. Good, and release. Come back to the center. And now we're gonna come into keeping your knees where they are. So they're still stacked under your hips, and you're gonna walk your hands further forward. So as far forward as you can, bringing your upper body down towards the floor. And maybe eventually you're in, like you can put your forearms down on the floor to rest them. And maybe your head down to the floor if that's not, or you take the block and you can use a block underneath your head as a support. Come back to that intention that you set. And walk your hands a little over to the left side. Letting your chest come towards that floor so your shoulders are opening up here. come back to the center. And over towards the right side. Coming back to your breath, so breathing in and exhale, letting it go. Good. Dizzy? Good. All right, come back. Oh, where do you feel it? Okay, good to know. All right, spin. Actually, stay right here. Stay in that tabletop position, and we're gonna do cat-cow. So round your spine, push your back up towards the ceiling, tuck your chin in towards your chest, pushing on the floor. So push the floor away from you. Exhale, and then inhale. Drop your belly, lift your gaze, and exhale. Round your spine. Inhale, expand. Good. 2 more now, full rounds. Good. Moving at the speed of your own breath. Good. And then come back to the center. Shift your weight to that right knee and bring your left knee out. So you're going to like lift your left. Good. Lift your left and then come out and then back down. So you're just going to open up your hip here. So kind of like a fire hydrant. Out to the side. There you go. How does that feel on your right knee? Okay, all right, good. And now we're going to turn those outs into circles. So now when you lift it out, lift it forward and make a circle with that left knee. 4. Good. 1 more here. And then bring it down. We're going to do the other side. Shift your weight to that left side. Bring the right knee out to the side. 5, good. Now bring it out in a circle. So you're going to open up in that hip area. 3, 4, and 5. Good. All right, come on down to your belly. So slide your knees back, hands under your shoulders. Come to your belly. Let your hands be underneath your shoulders. Inhale, lift your chest. So we're going to do cobra here. Elbows pulled back. Push the tops of your feet on the floor. Good, and release, come back down. Let your head rest. Your head can rest on the mat. You can give your hips a little wiggle left and right. And then elbows tucked in towards your rib cage. Inhale, lift, tops of the feet on the mat. Look up towards the ceiling using your back muscles here. And release, come back down. All right, let your arms come out like a T. And then we're just going to do a subtle shift here. So shift your weight towards that left side, then your right arm. So bring your right hand, put your right hand on the floor. So you're going to do like a mini twist, but we're not going to bring it up and over too far. So you just push down through the mat with your right hand. And can you slide your right knee up towards your like elbow? So you make like a figure 4 kind of shape. Good. And now, no, it stays on the floor. So it's kind of comfortable. Like some people sleep this way. And then keep your leg there and then let your arm come back down to be in a T. So you keep that leg up. So it's like a leg is, and when I say up, the leg is bent. The knee is bent. And, like your head can be looking towards the right. Yep. If you want a little bit more of a passive neck stretch, if that feels good, then you can spin your gaze towards the left. But we're going to keep that. We're going to stay here for 5 breaths. So breathing in and exhale. One more breath here. Good. No, on the floor. It's a pretty passive yin stretch here, like a relaxing pose, a restorative pose. Now push your right hand into the floor, bend your right arm, push your right hand into the floor. Use that to support you as you slide your right leg back to being straight. Good. So both legs are straight back. Reach both arms straight forward. Opening up here in your shoulders again. Let your head relax, your forehead rest on the mat. Good. And now slide those arms back out to a T position. Right hand reaches out towards the right side. Left arm bends. Place your left hand underneath your shoulder as if we're going to go into a cobra, but we're not. Shift your weight. Roll a little bit towards that right side. So peel your chest up and then slide that left leg up into like a right angle. So the knee is almost in line with your hip. So instead of even flipping it back like we usually do, I want to make it even easier. We just slide it up so it's on the floor there. Good. So that your that left shin is parallel to that outer edge of your mat. Good. And then your hands can come back down, shaped like a T. Your gaze over towards that left side. And stay here, breathing in and out. Yeah, I think I can see. Do you feel like it's like a barely noticeable stretch in the lower body? Yep, that's what we want. It's like a supportive hip opening with your knee bent. It's like half frog pose, I think it's called. Because your legs kind of look like a frog. Two more breaths here. Good. And then place that left hand back on the floor. Push your upper body to lift up a little bit. Slide that leg back. And now is when you can kind of feel like the effects of that a little bit, right? Your legs might feel a little bit looser, and then shake your hips a little left, right, left, right. Good. And then come back to your hands underneath your shoulder. We're going to do a cobra pose. So push down the bottoms of your feet. Lift your chest. And notice how much further you can go maybe this time than before. But just relax your legs as you exhale. Good. And release. Come back down. Beautiful. So reach your arms straight forward. Activate your right arm, activate your left leg, and you're going to lift both up. So you can gaze down towards the mat, lift your left leg, lift your right arm, one long stretch here. Good. And relax, let it go. Shake your hips. Other side. Stretch your right leg back, left arm comes up. We're stretching forward. Imagine you're pushing a button on that back wall with that right foot. Straight like a 2x4 as much as you can with that leg. Good. And release. Come back down. Now slide your hands back underneath your shoulders. Now we're going to lift our hands off the floor. So arms bent. Lift your hands up off the floor. And then we're going to imagine we're swimming, reaching your hands behind you. So they almost are like hovering above your lower back, and then bringing them back to hover above the floor by your shoulders. Good. And then send them back and forward. Good. 3 more here. 2. A little shoulder mobility. Good. And release up. All right. Now we're going to come up to a phoenix position. So push your elbows down into the floor. Your legs can stay flat. We're just going to stretch your back here. So pushing down through the floor with your forearms. Elbow. Yeah, it's like pretty support. Yeah, it's pretty comfy. And let your legs be straight back. Good, there you go. Push your elbows into the floor. 2 more breaths here. Come back to your intention. Good. And release. Plant your hands onto the floor. You're going to push yourself back up and come into a seated position. That was a lot of back bending, so now we're going to go forward here. Your legs can be out or crisscross, whatever feels comfortable. You can have them out like that too. All right. Lengthen through your spine. Take a breath here. And exhale it out. Again, deep breath in. And let it go. Extend your left leg straight out. Take your right leg and you're gonna rock your right leg here. Good. And then can you let your leg rest on your right foot, rest on your left leg, and then can you take your fingers on your left hand and interdigitate your right toes? And push it a little forward and back, forward and back. Good, and then massage your massage your right foot with your hands. Imagine you're infusing that intention into your own feet, the foundation. Good. Making your way up to the ankle and into your calf. Good. And then can you gently pound your calf muscle here? You can do the back of the side of your hand. There you go. Good. And now let it come onto the floor. So keep it bent, but let it go onto the floor. And then again, apply some pressure and you can even use like your knuckles or like the, your fists. And now making your way up to your thigh muscle. So around the knee. You don't want to hit it on the joint, but like around the joint. Good. And then slide your hands around your knee. Lift your knee back up. Good. Take a moment here. Lengthen through your spine. Take your left hand, keep it on your knee. Twist, looking over towards your right shoulder. Good, and release, come back to the center, and let that leg go. We're gonna go to the other side, taking your left leg, rock gently, so we'll be sensitive with this one, especially. Good, and here you have the option to swing it and rest it on this leg, or you can keep it right on the floor, whatever feels safer for your body and for your knee. Good. Interdigitate your toes here, so sliding your right fingers in between some of your left toes. Pushing your toes forward and back. Good. And now massaging your foot, so the arch of your foot. Good. Making your way up to your calf muscle. finding any spots that feel like they need a little bit more of a pressure. And then you can pound here on that muscle. And as you do this, try to relax your leg. So it's natural that the left leg will tense up, but try to relax it. Making your way to your thighs. Good. And then letting it go. Ground that foot down to the ground. Take a moment here. Take your left hand behind, right hand onto your knee. Twist. Lengthen through your spine as you lift up. Exhale, twist. Good. And then release. Let it go. Let your legs, they can either bend, you can bend them or straighten them. Maybe windshield wiper a little left and right. Good. All right, and now we're going to stay in a seated position. Do a little bit of core. So you can hold your hands here on the back of your leg, lengthen through your spine, and then lean slightly back. Lift your legs up, and you can keep your hands right there. Core tight. So breathing that belly button in, pulling it towards your spine. Your hands can stay there, or you can let them by your side. It's your choice. You can also put them by the floor to support if your back feels it. Good. Point your toes and see how, if you can extend your legs out a little bit more, pulling those legs together. Good. And then we're going to slowly come down to your back. So as slow as you can, making your way down to the floor. And lay all the way back. And have a block handy. So have a block handy. We're going to bring that underneath your back. So bend the knees, lift your hips up, and slide the block underneath your lower back. Your legs can stay bent or they can stretch out straight, whatever feels good on your back. Come back to your breath and see if you could lengthen your breaths a little bit more. We're going to stay here for another 5 breaths. Bending your knees, push it down through the floor with your feet. Lift your hips up, slowly bringing your back down to the floor. And pull your knees in towards your chest. Good. Let your left leg come down to the floor. Extend your right leg straight up. So holding the back of your right leg. So stretching the back of your right leg as you pull your leg slightly, pointing your toes to the space above your head. So kind of an internal rotation there. Good. And then let your hands come by your side. Keep the leg up, and we're gonna bring it down and then straighten it back up. So you're gonna hover above the floor and then come back up. So a little leg lift here. So come down and then back up. Good. Down and then back up. Good. 3 more here. Pushing down through your left hip as you do this. Good. And release. Let that leg go. And then bend it again. We're going to extend the left leg straight up, holding on the back of your left leg. Flex your toes, pointing to the space above your head.
And then release your hands. Bring the leg down, hover above your floor, and then bring it back up. So bring it down. Keep it straight though. Yep, there you go. And back up. Up. Good. Down and back up. Down and back up. Good. 5 more. 2, 3, 4. Good. And 5. Good. And release. Let your legs go. You can hear come into a happy baby. Any final positions that feel good for your body? Maybe a bridge pose. Good. And then making your way into Shavasana. Let your whole body take up as much space as you want. Take a deep breath in through your nose. And exhale. Blow it out. Relax your forehead, your cheeks, your jaw. Relax the back of your neck, your right arm, your left arm, your right hip, your right leg, your belly, your left leg, your left foot, both legs, both arms, and your head. Letting your whole body just integrate all the work that you just did and feeling it melt into the floor. And we'll stay here for a couple minutes in Shavasana. And then you could bring awareness back into your breath. You can wiggle your fingers, your toes, bringing movement back into your body. Reach your arms up overhead. You can give yourself a little stretch here, like lengthening a tall shape. And then bend the knees, wrap your arms around your legs, and rock a little left and right. And rock to one side. And come back up to the center, making your way back up. Back to that intention that you set for the day. Take a deep breath in. And let it go. Namaste.